Hey guys, Mr. Bohorik here, and I'm going to give you a tip on factoring trinomials in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c. And my tip for today is to always try to factor out a monomial first, and then go ahead and factor the trinomial like you normally would. So let's do an example where I can show you how easy this would be. So let's say we're doing 8x squared plus 33x minus 30. As you might be able to tell, the 18, the 33, and the 30 all have a common factor. In fact, a greatest common factor, and that's 3. So when we factor a 3 out of there, we have a 6x squared plus 11x minus 10. And already you can probably tell that it's a lot easier numbers to work with on this trinomial than it is right here. So let's go ahead and not worry about the 3 for right now, and let's worry about factoring the trinomial in the parentheses. So I'm going to use the slide method to do this, since that was the most popular method with the classes on Friday. So let's do that. We'll slide the 6 over to the negative 10, giving us an x squared plus 11x minus 60. And then we'll factor that trinomial. There's an x, and the two factors of negative 60 that add up to 11 are going to be a positive 15 and a negative 4. 15 times negative 4 is negative 60, and 15 plus negative 4 is 11. So let's divide both of those factors by our original a value, that's 6, and simplify. So x plus 5 over 2 and x minus 2 over 3. Final step for the slide method is to take those denominators and move them in front of x. So the 2 moves in front of x, giving us a 2x plus 5. And the 3 moves in front of x, giving us a 3x minus 2. However, that's not the answer. Don't forget about our friend, the 3 that we factored out at the very beginning. He can go on the outside of those two parentheses. So this whole statement right here, that is our answer. So that wasn't too bad because we factored out a monomial first. Let's take a look at what it would look like using the box method if we decided not to do that. So I'm going to set up the 18x squared plus 33x minus 30. And I'm going to set this up using the box method just to give it a little variety. So here's my box. The first term goes in the box here, 18x squared. The last term goes here. We're going to do 18 times negative 30, which is negative 540. And already you can see that, oh my gosh, we're going to have to find the factors of negative 540 that add up to 33. Ugh. Well, luckily, it's not as bad as it sounds if you play around with it for a bit. But those two factors are going to be a 45 and a negative 12. So we're going to put those in there, negative 12x, negative 45x. And now we're going to be finding some GCFs. So right here, our GCF, that should be a positive 45x. And there we go. So right here, our GCF will be 9x. Right down here, remember when both terms are negative, our GCF is negative, so that's a negative 6. And this row right here, we have a 45x, and remember that's positive. I made a little goof there, and a negative 30, so that's 15. 18x squared minus 12x squared, or a negative 12x squared, and that gives us a 6x. So you can see that it's not already apparent that we have the right answer, because we have a 6x plus 15 and a 9x minus 6, which not quite the same thing. You may notice that you can factor a 3 out of each one to get the same thing that we have here. However, it's not really apparent from our answer here that where that 3 is supposed to go, because you could factor a 3 out of those parentheses or all at once. It's just a little bit confusing. So I believe that factoring out the monomial first, like we did up here, makes the problem much easier. So this would be the preferred way to solve a trinomial problem. So first tip, always look for a monomial first. Try to factor it out and then factor your trinomial to get your answer. Otherwise, you may get a little bit confused with some big numbers and some confusing stuff with the binomials right here. All right, Mr. Bohorik, and I hope you learned something today. Great.